as a Bears fan, there wasn't a lot in terms of redeeming qualities for the 2024 season because at the end of the day, Bears football! But by God, every once in a while, thy football gods be smiling down upon thee. Oh, they do. And they give me something glorious and stupendous. And that is the return of the Skidmarks. Yes! I love it. A shitty team for a shitty city. Cleveland. Oh boy. Here come the Browns fans flaming away in the comments. How dare you talk about our city? It smells glorious. Swear to God. The air is clean. The water is clean. And yet you have absolutely no evidence to prove that. Now, in fairness to Cleveland, I mean, you're not Brown Bay, so you got that going for you, but not a whole hell of a lot else. And certainly not your football team last season. Oh, Christ. Go from an 11-win total to one of the worst teams in the league, finishing 3-14. Yikes. You know, some might say that karma finds a way to collect, which on the surface is bullshit. Because there are lots of scummy, shitty people in this world that never get their comeuppance. Revenge never happens. It just doesn't. That's a fantasy that people try to tell other people to make them feel better about their shitty, pathetic lives. But every once in a while, it does seem like karma comes to collect. And it seems like the karma came to collect on the Cleveland Browns in 2024. That's the price you pay for making arguably the worst trade in NFL history, like even worse than the John Hadle Green Bay Packers trade back in the 70s. It was this level of bad. For Deshaun Watson to come in, get all that guaranteed money, and give this team 7 starts last year, 5 touchdown passes before he tears his Achilles. That feels like sweet justice, doesn't it? Skidmarks! Ooh. Their offense was bad, like brutally bad. They scored 18 points or less, 18 points or less in 14 of their 17 games. Just think about how insane that is, how consistently incompetent their offense was, how ugly of a watch they were. Again, Skidmarks! And for a defensive unit that was pretty good in 2023, an elite in certain aspects, they returned back to earth in 2024. They stunk because Skidmarks! Oh, baby. Yeah, what a lost season for the Cleveland Browns, their fan base. It was Skidmarks all around for everyone. And honestly, are you really expecting things to be much better this year? Like even when you look at the offseason, some guys are gone like Juan Thornhill and Dalvin Tomlinson, Nick Chubb. But you look at last year, Nick Chubb only played half the season anyways. And the defense stunk with Thornhill and Tomlinson for whatever they played. So does it really matter? No. And when you look at who they signed, Malik Collins, oh, that's going to cause fear in opposing offenses. Cornelius Lucas, Joe Tyron Shoinka, like none of these are moves that make you go, wow. Wow. Because they don't. Because this team stinks. And it seems like they did very little to unstankify themselves, to unskidmarks themselves in this offseason. And even when you go into the NFL draft, there's quite a bit of thought there of where the Cleveland Browns going to take Travis Hunter. They needed an impact player. They needed a difference maker. They needed a star player. And instead, they said, nah, we good. We're going to drop back a few spots. Now, I'll give them credit because that might have been the harder decision to make, but probably long-term is the right one for this organization because of the Deshaun Watson trade in the years of not having premium draft pick capital. They need to put themselves in a position come 2026 to be able to go get a quarterback because that quarterback certainly does not appear to exist on their roster right now. So in the NFL draft, I would give them credit. I thought they did a solid job here. Mason Graham, gives them somebody in the interior of that defensive line. You hope he can come in and take a little bit of pressure off of Myles Garrett and provide some pass rush up the middle. Carson Schlesinger, I was a big fan of. out of UCLA. He's going to be a really good linebacker in the league, in my opinion. They drafted a couple running backs in Quinshon Judkins and Dylan Sampson. Frankly, I thought Sampson was a little bit better of a prospect, but nonetheless, like, if Judkins doesn't get into any more trouble, like, they have a nice 1-2 running back combination here paired with Jerome Ford. Harold Fandon Jr., the productive tight end from Bowling Green, was a third-round pick, and they invested in quarterbacks, a couple of them, in Dylan Gabriel and Shedeur Sanders. And when you're having debates about whether Dylan Gabriel or Shedeur Sanders should be your backup quarterback, you know you're in a bad spot in a bad way as an organization. That's all I'm going to say. And frankly, at this point, like, why not just start Shedeur? I mean, what the fuck difference is it going to make, right? Right? Is you want to start 40-plus-year-old Joe fucking Flacco instead? Oh, my God. Oh, boy. Yikes. Anyways, I'm just not even going to beat around the bush. Like, why would I think the Browns are going to be any good this year, realistically? When you look at the strengths of their team, what do they got? They got Myles Garrett. Now, Myles Garrett is in kind of that Joe Thomas category, right, of elite player at his position for an extended period of time, future first ballot Hall of Famer, in part perhaps even elevated in terms of his Hall of Fame positioning because he was so great in such a shitty team and organization for so long. It's what happened with Joe Thomas. It happens here a little bit with Myles Garrett as well. And I love how he was like, I don't want to be here anymore. And then he got paid and he's quiet now. I love it. That's how you execute leverage. Fucking glorious. You look at their secondary, you've got Grant Delpit, Denzel Ward, Ronnie Hickman. Like, they've got a good core there. Maybe Newsome will play a little bit better here in 2025. And if he does, like, there's a chance for some bounce back for this defense that, again, really did not play well last year. Especially if you throw in a Mason Graham and a Carson Schwessinger into the mix. Like, you would hope those guys would help improve this defense. And then you look at the running game. You know, you've got Jerome Ford is probably your starter, Quinshon Judkins and Dylan Sampson in relief. Like, yeah, Nick Chubb was the guy for a number of years, but he's gone now. This should be a team that is able to run the ball with the running backs that they have here. So the talent cupboard is not entirely completely bare, just mostly so. Lots of question marks, though, for this team. Like the receiving core. Who scares you? Who are you worried about? Who do you even really feel like you have to put any different focus on? Exactly. I look at their offensive line. It feels like a pretty solid unit, except the left tackle. They're playing DeJuan Jones there. He was pretty bad last year from what I can recall. So that feels like that's going to be a big question mark. Then I look at their pass rush outside of Myles Garrett. Yes, you have Myles Garrett. He's a future first ballot Hall of Famer. But, you know, what's Mason Graham going to do? What's a Malik Collins going to do? What's anybody else going to do that could provide some pass rush for that that Browns front seven? Obviously, though, the biggest question of all is quarterback. It just feels like it doesn't matter. 40-plus-year-old Joe Flacco or 36-year-old rookie Dylan Gabriel. But you get what I mean, right? Like, old-ass rookie with limited physical talents, and you're taking him in round 3, and then you turn around in round 5 and take Shedeur. Like, none of those quarterbacks feel like real winners at this stage for this organization. That feels like it's certainly going to be something to watch all year. As you could tell, like, I don't have much in the way of positive hopes for this Browns team to get out of the Skidmarks path in 2025. Looking at their schedule, you know, if they have any shot to get some momentum, it got to come at the beginning of the year. Weeks 1 and 2, you host Cincinnati, and then you go to Baltimore. Hey, right from the very beginning, a couple divisional matchups. You find a way to win at least one of them. Maybe you catch Cincinnati napping at the beginning of the season, which they're prone to do most years. You feel a little better about yourself, and who knows? Then you get to like week 6 through 8, and then after their bye in week 9, the week 10 matchups, there's some potentially winnable games there, right? Got to go to Pittsburgh, hosting Miami, at New England, then coming back off the bye. You face the Jets on the road. So bad thing, 3 of those 4 games on the road. Good thing, 3 of those 4 teams didn't make the playoffs last year. So that's a stretch if you're the Browns and you say, hey, we want to shock the world and surprise some people and be a playoff contender here. Got to win one of those first 2 games, And you got to probably go 3-1 in that stretch of schedule that I just talked about. And if they get to a place at the end of the season where they've got a shot, they got a couple of divisional matchups to close it out, Pittsburgh, and then going to Cincinnati in Week 18. But let's be honest here. Like, anybody sitting there and picking this Browns team to do anything other than finish last in this division and have a top 5 pick in this year's draft is smoking a lot of Cleveland hopium. Plain and simple. The smog and pollution of the Cleveland air has not only infiltrated their lungs, but also their brains. I mean, let's just be honest. You really think that this team is going to do anything other than Skidmarks in 2025? I thought so.